Welcome back to the channel. We've got a new haircut, we've got a new camera angle, and today we're going to be going through how we can level up your e-commerce store coming 2026. So for most of you guys, we've probably just finished Black Friday, December the 2nd, so it's been crazy last couple of weeks. We've been running multiple sales, multiple campaigns, and we're seeing really good results for our clients. So we want to be finishing the year off nice and strong, and more importantly, starting 2026 off with a super strong start as well. So in this video, I'm going through how we can do that for your brand, areas you need to improve on, and how we can actually level up your brand in 2026. I will throw a quick disclaimer in there as well. There's going to be a link in this document, which will be below. There'll be a button in there if you want to book an audit with us, how we can show you how we can do that with emails and audit your account completely for free. Feel free to use that link, and hopefully we can talk soon about some business. Jumping on next, if you guys want to have a little read, there is a little bit about me, about my background and running the agency, so feel free to have a check through that. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, we're probably just coming out of the Black Friday period, and we've got Q4, which generally is one of the craziest times of the year. So we also have Christmas coming up and even January sales in Q1. But for a lot of you, you're going to be coming down to the realization that we can't always live on cloud nine and we can't always be running these crazy promotions. So we need to go back to full sale and pushing some aggressive campaigns and getting ourselves some good sales, obviously at full price. So a lot of brands out there, they're going to be relying on two main sources of traffic, which is going to be ads and organic. These really are the main form of traffic. So ads is obviously your Meta, Google, TikTok, YouTube, anything that you're running. And then organic could be things like TikTok, Instagram Reels, even just Instagram, things like that, which are going to generate you some free traffic. So as I'm sure you're aware as well, over these sales periods, even Q4 in general, ad prices and acquisition is going to be super expensive as everyone's ramping their ads up, trying to gain as much attention as possible. So naturally, these prices are going to increase. So we don't want to be relying on constantly having high performing ads because these can fall off overnight, and without constantly testing new creatives, they can do a U-turn and obviously start becoming unprofitable. Platform dependency as well. So this could be like algorithms, shadow banning, things along those lines that can literally snap and you've literally lost everything. So I've known a lot of brands as well that have been promoting things and all of a sudden overnight, they've gone from getting 50,000 store reviews to 2,000. So that's a lot of reach gone without nothing that you can control. You can't buy it back. You can't just get it back. Secondly as well, you're probably in a stage where you don't have customer loyalty. So any people that are having new drops, new seasons come out, replenishables, we want to be making sure our customers are coming back in. And by doing this is we create a brand. With all these things I've mentioned, ultimately they come to one conclusion: unpredictable cash flow. So even if you're bringing money through the business, it doesn't necessarily mean it's straight profit. With these things improved, which is what I'm going to be going through, we can talk about how actually we're going to be increasing our profit, not only cash flow. So number one thing you need to start thinking and acting on is, if you're a CEO, founder, director, anything which is actually responsible for growing the business, this is your main responsibility. So we need to take it from the fact that you're just trying to create cash and that kind of mindset to turning yourself into a brand architect, is what I like to call it. Someone that's actually going to be designing and paving the way for your brand. There's a few tips in here as well. So if your daily calendar is consumed of operational tasks, so you're doing things like approving purchase orders, managing customers, service, things along these lines, these aren't moving your brand forward. You're literally just surviving, you're floating, and you're not growing your business. As I'm sure you're all aware, if you stop moving forward, you stop growing, your brand is pretty much a dying thing and it's just waiting to seize. And eventually there will be something which wipes it out. One of your main responsibilities is building a system that operates without you. And this goes for anyone, even if you're running an agency, a business, anything, you need to build a strong team that you can rely on for people below you. So these small mundane tasks like approving purchase orders, managing customer service, you need to have someone in place that can approve this for you, or a team that you can heavily rely on. A lot of people opt for cheap labor, people they can't rely on in terms of like, you know, they just about do their job, but you can't trust them fully. These people will cost you more money in the long run, and you need to focus on hiring A-star players, people that are actually going to be helping you elevate your brand. People, you don't want to be hiring someone that you've got to babysit, look over, and make sure they're doing their job right, because at the end of the day, this is going to bring you no benefit in the long run at all. Second thing you want to be focusing on is creating leverage in any means necessary. So you can use things like an email list, your content platforms, community forums, customer data. So you can collect this from doing surveys, get a customer survey, and then you can use this data to obviously leverage better results, price points, things like this, improvements. And then obviously paid media as well. So this doesn't even just mean ads. It could be anything in terms of like influencers, social media, UGC content, things along those lines. Third thing you want to be focusing on is your brand equity. So how I mean by this, I don't necessarily mean money. I mean reinvesting into your business. So investing into your reputation, differentiating yourself from other brands, investing in storytelling behind the scenes, customer experience, things along these lines, which really do bring your audience in and make them feel like your brand is actually different. Worth talking about. Again, word of mouth, as I mentioned here, referrals, things like this is really what is going to help you level up your brand and take it to the next step. You want to start setting yourself targets as well. So start thinking in quarters and years, not days and weeks, because when we start thinking days and weeks ahead, you're generally just surviving and you're just kind of ticking things off just to stay afloat. However, if you've got goals, plans set forward, you can start putting strategic plans in place. And again, you can start looking on delivering these and creating some ROI as well. As I mentioned earlier, you want to be differentiating yourself from being a store, and you want to be turning yourself into a brand. So these things here, just a quick do's and don'ts list in terms of if you're running a store, if you're building a brand. So building a brand, I won't go too much if you're running a store. I'm sure you understand what I mean by this. But for a brand, you want people to be actively searching your brand. So take, for example, Gymshark. If you type in activewear or sportswear, Gymshark's probably going to come up. That way, obviously, people it's more touch points with people. It's building awareness. You also want to be sharing as many photos of your customers using your product, sharing your product, things like this without any incentive or prompts. That way your brand looks really natural. They can see people using it, benefiting from it, looking good in it, whatever it may be. Staying consistent in the low months as well. This is what really builds your brand. The times when you're not seeing much return, but you're still chomping away at social media, posting TikToks, there's one day that it's going to pop. And again, a lot of people mention TikTok as a lottery. You're going to hit it one day and then all of a sudden you're making millions. Email and SMS is a really good point as well. That's something we focus on as an agency. We've got plenty of content on there, but we'll go through this in a short while. Community as well that discusses your products, as I mentioned, using them in forums, social groups, things like this. Repeat customers, which we can get this from social media, email, things along those lines. In my opinion, this is the main thing you're going to be interested in is you're going to be able to charge a premium price because your perceived value is going to go up. So if you're seeing a store that has 10K followers on Instagram, you're going to initially think, oh, well, maybe they're a startup company. They're a little bit small. So you're not going to have that initial perceived value of them being like a good item as such. Whereas if you're a brand that's got a good social proof, you're everywhere. You're on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, even sending emails, you're going to be perceived as a brand that knows their stuff. They're a high-level brand, so you can put yourself in a position where you're charging premium for your product. Even brand mentions as well, so organic traffic, word over mouth. So the more people use and recommend your product, even if you've just got people organically reviewing it on TikTok, again, every single step that you're getting out there is going to obviously elevate your brand. With all those points we touched on, I'm going to break them down into a lot more detail, go how we'd actually structure these strategies, and obviously elevate your brand. So social media is obviously one of the biggest things in the world right now in terms of growing growth very quickly in terms of building a following. There's people that are building millions of followers in like less than a year's time by staying consistent, posting authentic content and really good quality. As I mentioned earlier, consistently posting even in the dry points. You really want to just be focusing on your consistency rather than just posting a perfect post. Algorithms, they reward frequency and engagement. So just focus on the more touch points you get, the more content you post. And in that way, you almost beat in the algorithm in that sort of essence. In my opinion, using social media in these pillars I'm going to show right now is the main way to elevate yourself from other brands. So showing behind the scenes with your content. So this could be showing your workplace, your team members, documenting the design process, manufacturing. Just showing these images show like a real brand. They show authenticity. People actually get to see how the product they're going to potentially be buying is going to be made, designed, which again, just adds intrigue. People are going to start interacting more. Second pillar is user-generated content. And what I mean by this is people that you haven't paid, like UGC, things like this, you want to be showcasing real customers. So whether you've got a clothing brand, you can be showing people wearing your clothing. Even if you just give it away, if you're starting off, give some stuff away and you can show some real people. People only react to stuff that they think is like authentic. They don't want to be seen perfect. So all these unedited images, you see them, like real videos from customers, they show authenticity. And this, again, this is what people can relate to. You're showing all these models, all these like picture perfect images. Not everyone looks like this. Not everyone's going to be creating this. Even the model doesn't look like this. They're going to be edited to the max. So people can't really relate to this. Real life content is really what is going to level up your brand. Also, if you're in a brand as well, that you can get the founder's message across. So I know there's a lot of brands out there that even like the head of marketing, founders, we do this for a lot of brands as well. Put your face in front of the camera. So whether you're hopping on podcasts, sending emails to your newsletter, connecting on Instagram, doing stories, that way people feel connected with your brand as just as someone that they're just giving money to. Lastly, we want to be educating our audience. So let's say, for example, you're in the fitness niche. You could be giving advice on, dieting, diet hacks, meals, how to lose weight, how to gain muscle. There's so many things you can be putting across. So not only are you going to be gaining traction from that audience, it's going to be ultimately directing people to your main goal, which is your brand. With that being said, we want to put some form of system in place to help us create this content and keep up to our schedule. So we want to create some form of content pillars. We want to have between 3 and 5 core themes, something that really aligns with your brand, your audience. That way we can hone in on these and then just keep working on it. For example, if you've got a sustainable fashion brand, you want to be branching off of that and then just elevating your brand with that. We want to have some batching schedules, so you could dedicate 1 day per week and just literally film. This is what I do for YouTube. Film like a full day's worth, and then you've then got however long worth of content. That way you're not breaking up your day in the week. You're not coming back into from things. It's just done there and square. Platform strategy. So you want to choose 2 platforms, in my opinion, that you want to focus on. For me, I focus on LinkedIn and YouTube. I also do Twitter as well, but I don't really put all my effort into that. Then you want to have some engagement routine. So I try and spend between 10 to 20 minutes per week, just replying to comments, engaging, coming back to customers, whatever it may be. And then also you want to have some performance review in there as well. So at the end of the week, you want to see what's performed well. Even you want to keep measuring this over time as well, because stuff can have a delayed response. You can have posts that blow up like a month after you've even uploaded it. So keeping track of your performance, tracking your views, seeing what performs well. And then in my opinion, what I do is whatever works well, just keep doubling down on it, obviously, until it stops working. And then we find the next best thing. Strategy number 2, which is email marketing. Our agency specializes in this, which is what we work with our clients. And it is definitely one of the highest ROI channels that you can have out there. We're not affected by ad price costs, creatives failing, shadow banned accounts on Instagram, social media. And a lot of people do miss out on this, and it's a very good way of leveling up your brand. One thing email does really well is extends the lifetime value of your customer. So let's say we take people that are just going to be like one-time buyers. Email really helps us to level people up to like 2, 3, 4-time purchases, especially if you're bringing new drops, new items, new releases, or even replenishables, because email marketing has multiple touch points with your audience and it costs literally nothing. So second thing, as I mentioned, is a strong community bond, because the way we structure our emails is we don't just ram sales and products down people's necks. We want to help them level up as people in terms of the brand. So for example, you've got a fitness brand, we could be sending information about fitness, how to level up, how to increase productivity, things along these lines that people actually really value you sending emails. That way it brings a stronger community. Again, as I mentioned, word of mouth, people start talking about things and then you just keep going from there. This leads on to that as well, which is amplified brand awareness. As I mentioned, the more touch points you have with your customers. So if you're sending 3 campaigns a week, you're literally sending 12 emails per month, which is 12 touch points, 12 chances for people to get on your website, be re-engaged back into your ecosystem. Lastly, one of the main reasons which email is great is objection handling. So let's say you have a product which is really expensive, people could be reluctant to purchase it. So by getting them over the objection, by putting it in their head that they're going to benefit from buying your product, they're obviously going to be more likely to convert. Whereas if they just see it on ads, more than likely they're just going to keep scrolling past it and they're probably not going to give you a second look. Pillar number 3 is real world brand activation. So a lot of brands, they kind of fall away from this point. I think this could be the next wave when it comes to digital marketing. So everyone's used to hiding behind a screen, hiding behind a website, and then marketing like that. I do think people are missing the real world touch. And obviously in some circumstances, it doesn't work out to be a good fit for you to go and purchase a store and have like some retail. So by doing something like pop-up events, and in a way it's experimental marketing. So you can kind of host these events with like a pop-up store. You could be selling your product. People get to come and interact with the founder, get to talk, learn a little bit about you. You can do like meet and greets, things like this, which really would elevate your brand. Also, it's actually capturing a lot of first-time awareness from people in the public, people that have never heard from your brand, and it actually makes it a lot more meaningful than just scrolling through Facebook and just seeing some random advert that you're going to click on. You're not really invested that way. So this way, it just intrigues people. They're going to be invested a lot more than just seeing your cold traffic on ads. And it's a great way of leveling up. Leading on from that, we have giveaways and partnerships. So in my opinion, if you do it correctly, they can be really good in terms of like growth hacking. However, doing giveaways, they can just attract people that want bargains, freebies. So they might not obviously end up turning into a customer, but it is a good way of gaining. I do think partnerships will be a lot more beneficial. So you can partner with influencers, even brands as well, which overlap with your audiences, but you're not direct competitors. So let's say, for example, you have a shoe store, you could partner with someone that does tracksuits. That way you could do a drop together saying that these shoes match these tracksuits. And then ultimately you're both leveraging each other's audiences and they both combine into one and just turn into one mega pot of profit, which is what we want in the end. One thing I have forgot to mention and include a slide is podcasting appearances. So a lot of people and founders are actually coming to the fact of like doing podcasts, talking about their experience, their story, where they've come from. And that is something we're going to start doing on this channel soon. So stay tuned for that. Feel free to drop a subscribe as well. But ultimately, this is like the figure of 8 of kind of how they all amplify each other. So social media comes into real life events because obviously you've gained traction. These events, the traction starts going into email marketing, which you're collecting leads. And then ultimately, we're going to be nurturing them and then converting them to purchases. And then podcasts. And again, it just keeps working like this in terms of brand awareness and attraction. So here again, we have a breakdown of each commodity, if that makes sense, going through everything I've just spoke about in terms of how it can benefit your brand. With that being said, we have got to the end of the video. I don't want it to feel like I'm just you're being back at school, me just talking to you. So I will leave this document in link below. You can check it yourself, go through, have a look, refer to it back when you feel like you need to. Ultimately, there is going to be a link to download this template, and you can visit our link there, which will take you to our website where you can book a call with us and we can audit your account for emails. As I mentioned, even if you just want to talk to us about your brand, where you want to take things, what your goals and objectives are, feel free to do so. And then obviously in the future, when you're crushing it, you can come back to us when you're running emails and we can go from there. Thank you for watching. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and I won't stutter anymore. Catch you in the next one.